We have only 35 chambers. There is no 36.
I know that. But I want to create a new chamber.
And what would that be?
I think Shaolin techniques should be available to all. So then, that's my idea for a new chamber. To teach the martial arts to the people. Anybody.
Welcome back to another episode of My 3 Cents. Now, let me ask you a question. You know how people say, are you good? And you know how when you're growing up, your parents are telling you to be good, right? So I was just thinking the other day that this whole being good thing, because, you know, that's linked into being great, right? And people often like to talk about greatness. But to be able to reference greatness, we got to go back to goodness for goodness sake, right? We have to go back to what creates greatness. First comes good. What is good? So it's like when they're telling you to be good, they're kind of saying make an effort to come off whatever way they teach you is good, right? So we're basically talking about formulas. You know, a lot of times I talk about the mathematics of everything, how all is self, everything is everything, all is reflection, as above, so below, as within, so without. I mean, however you want to put it, there is no inside without an outside, right? So essentially, those two things are the same. You're referencing them different because you're seeing them from different perspectives, but it is the same thing. It's like standing behind me and saying, I'm looking at your back, and standing in front of me and saying, I'm looking at your chest. Whole time, you've just been looking at me, right? So we do that with a lot of things, and we forget to not do that sometimes, reconnect everything, and get back to the wholeness of whatever the thing is. So back to being, quote unquote, good. Because my belief is that all this stuff we're doing as far as our acting when we leave the house and how we want to be perceived, you know, the whole egotistical ways that we live, that we've been trained to live. So it's not really our fault, but you can get to a point where you realize that's what you're doing and you can stop trying. All right? Way. Doing, not doing. Okay? You gotta figure out what that means if you don't know. If you don't know, listen to some old episodes or look it up. Right? So life is, to me, about showing your formulas, right? Because everybody's judging you based on what your formula for life is. You see? I'm observing you. So basically, I'm judging you. Observation is not looking, is not seeing. There is a process involved that turns it into what's called observation, right? Because involved in that, you're seeing and you're thinking. There's a process. So you're judging, all right? This is a very subtle judgment. I mean, if you look at anybody over a couple of seconds, you're judging some kind of very small way. It's like, and look, sometimes the way is so small that you go into this weird zone where you're now staring, right? Someone has said, hey, stop staring, and you kind of snap out of it, okay? This is how small the vibration got, that it puts you in a trance. This is how small the judgment energy was. But remember, when things get very small, and especially vibration and frequency, it's actually more deadly. If any of y'all have ever been shocked by electricity, right? You'll realize that electricity is just vibration, but it is a vibration that happens so fast that it transcends over into friction. So heavy friction, we all know, concentrated energy clashing, right? This is why we get fire out of that, the soul. I'm not going to go into that, but you get what I'm saying, right? So you understand that vibration just got so small and so concentrated that it actually caused more damage. Okay, so keep that in mind. So life, I feel like, is about showing your formulas. Everybody wants to see your formula. What is your formula to life? You'll actually have people putting out videos and say, look, this is my formula. Just do this and you'll succeed. This is the formula of the millionaires. This is the formula, right? Everybody's telling you. They say, poor people do this and rich people do this, okay? They're referencing people's formula. They think they have your formula figured out. This is the problem. And a lot of people are moving around under a formula mind frame and do not realize it. And your actual mission consciously has become that of keeping the formula pretty. Come on, man. So, in my opinion, if you are great at something, then that just means you have a winning formula. That is all that stuff is, breaking down to, right? This is a judgment play, okay? They say, he's good at that. Why would you tell somebody they're good at something unless you're judging them? Why is it you'll tell them when they're good at something, but you feel reserved when it's time to tell them they're bad at something? Why is it that when we hit the bad side, quote unquote, then we say, well, we really shouldn't be judging? But when you're on the other side of that spectrum, remember, it's just a spectrum, so it's the same line. Why is it that when you're on the other side of that spectrum, you want to congratulate them? You're great, you're great, you're great. Now, I can go back to all is reflection and all is self. So however a person is treating you, and I make sure I really instill this into my daughter. However somebody's treating you, just remember, they're showing you them. That has nothing to do with you. It's your choice to take that personal. You are just the mirror at the time. If somebody hates their self enough, they will kill someone else. Come on, man. This is what I'm trying to say. And I'm always trying to talk this way to black people because there is some weird disconnect between blacks calling out the blacks that's doing all the damn damage. We keep having to yell about your life mattering, but you're not telling the ones that got us in that position to change. Hey, we're all looking at you. What are you doing? We're going to all turn on you if you don't stop killing us. Why can't we do something like that? Why is there always drives for this and drives for that, but there's never a stop killing niggas in Chicago drive? Stop the gang violence drive on NBC. How much are we raising? Nothing? Oh, okay. That's what I thought. You guys are falling for these narratives and this hype talk. Get to work. Stop talking. I don't even really like to do too many episodes because I always got something to do. Look, so what I'm saying is this, right? Let's get back to the formula. So to be great is, in my opinion, again, right, in my 3 cents, is to be calculated without being calculatory. It is to be calculated in your movements without having calculatory intent. Okay? This is really the unlocking of the formula within. You already had greatness. You didn't go pick it up from anywhere. You didn't train yourself to be great. But the funny thing is, you first had to recognize yourself as good. Other people then had to recognize you as good. Then you could all agree, hopefully in the future, that you're great. What kind of shit are we doing? Now, this is with the sports. This is with everything. Now, we celebrate the Hall of Fame and all this kind of stuff. Hey, man, that's what? Great. But what are we really doing? Why not everybody that got their head bust on the field go to the Hall of Fame? Imagine how the people feel that broke bones, disrupted family dynamic by never being home and just trying to be that earner, sacrificed, right? We never heard of them. Not only that, we never will hear of him. Not only that, he might be at your Publix and you might not recognize him. That's how real it is. And that same person fell for the trick that your kids are falling for right now. But they don't want you to see that side. So watch out when somebody's trying to tell you to be good at something so you could be great at something. When you hear that, remember that I said, greatness is already in you. Never let a person tell you to become great. What the hell you mean become great? I am great. But see, what that should also be telling you is that you are not exuding greatness. You hear that? So, yeah, you could be great. But the reason that they're telling you to become great is because you are not exuding greatness to the fact that it's touching other people. You can feel great all you want. One thing that really bothers me is when a person asks me, am I good? I can't stand that. That is my, what they call pet peeve, man. That, for some reason, just bothers the hell out of me, and I will think about it all day unless I say something to the person. And when I say something to them, you know, people normally feel like I'm overreacting about things because I'm not the type to just let things go. Where do they go? Really, they still in my pocket, right? It's a magic trick. Check your pocket. It's still there. How'd it get in there? Who did that? So, uh, and I'm not rude when I tell them. I'll say something like, hey, for future reference, it really bothers me. I don't know why, but it just bothers me when people ask me, am I good or how am I doing? I say, just assume I'm great. All right. And if I'm not, you'll know. So, because see, I'm the person, I don't do small talk. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to sit here and burn brain cells with you talking about the weather. We're both outside. This is stupid. Okay? You know, when I get with my brother, man, we might call each other to say hello, and it will turn into an epic conversation because this is what happens when iron and iron get in the same space. We all know iron sharpens iron, so this is what it is. I like more of that space. Say something profound or deep to me, even if you think it's deep. Man, let me hear it. Because everything I say ain't deep to you, and everything you say is deep to me. Because that's what I choose for it to be, right? I take in energy because I'm a big ball of energy, right? I can't be just one way. If I was full of myself, that means I have no room. Also means I'm not outputting properly. I'm not inputting properly. I'm stagnant. When things are stagnant, we know what that is. It's never good. Right? So, the whole winning formula to be great is to be calculated without calculatory intent led me to start thinking about the unlocking of the formula inside of you that you just had not realized. Because remember, education or educare just means to bring out or to draw out what is within, right? So it's not giving anything, it is just helping one realize or see with their real eyes, right? What they already have. Anything you think you're looking for, you must have had a taste of. You can't seek or search for anything that you've never had. How would that make sense? What the hell would you be looking for? So, stop seeking, stop searching, and reconnect. Become magnetic. That would even be better, right? or that'd be better of a connection. Because magnets never lose their attraction no matter how far apart they are. They might not be able to smack together, but hey man, they never lose their connection. That is inherent with magnets. That's another thing that man can not yet fully understand, magnetism. They don't know much about it, but they use it. They don't know much about you, but they use you. And the problem is, they know more about you than you do. That's the real problem, right? So, um, the unlocking of the formula within, okay. So, this is to me also the making sense of life itself. That's all you're doing. Because remember, I said it's inside of you. You're drawing it out. You're becoming what you already are. You can't even fathom that. None of us can. How can you fathom the position of the one who becomes what he already is? How do you figure that out? Right? You don't. Okay? Just do it. Just be. That's your best bet. All those bees, you see that? So, um, when you're making sense of life in this way where the way you think has expanded and the way you watch movies, TV shows, people, whatever it is real. You are observing it in the realest way. You're no longer lying to yourself. You're no longer lying to the people you care about. You're being very forthright, very honest, right? You're being very candid because why not? Who the hell lives life to hide themselves? Think about it. You know, I used to be one of those people, oh, I'm low key, I'm always in the shadows. Man, I grew up playing the shadows because that was my comfort zone. I never knew how good it was outside the shadow. I never knew, right? Until I just started living outside the shadow. So you got to do something you've never done to become or get something you've never had. You have to. That's the only way. If you're not satisfied with your life and where you're at, that means that every single thing you've done up until now, the accumulation of those things have only gotten you to where you're at right now, and you're sitting there not satisfied. So it is simple mathematics. Don't do any of the shit you did. Do something different. Now, with that, what? Of course it's going to be uncomfortable. Of course it's going to be new and take work because you got to get what? Good at it. Only to realize you're great at it. And we're talking about life. So, when you start to make sense of life this way, you know, you got to be straight with yourself, like people say, right? This is reference to the straight line versus the zigzag path. It takes longer to get to the same place. A zigzag is also a straight line, but it's a series of straight lines, shorter straight lines, right? They're confusion in the making. They keep go this way, that way, this way, that way. Now, the whole thing is moving forward, but it's going to take longer. That's what you need to really pick up from a zigzag. It does move forward. Somebody can be in a zigzag path and argue you down that they not because it's working. When you're simply trying to show them, hey man, you're wasting a certain amount of energy that you don't have to use. But that's how stubborn people are now. You can't tell anybody anything. So this is why it's important to be able to exit judgment so you're not going off or going home and feeling some type of way on the insides, right? Letting it eat you up when they're at ease, wherever they're at. Think about that. All is reflection and all is self. Whatever you intend to shoot at somebody else, you got to hear the bang first. It has a reflection on you first. You are it first. Okay? Never forget that. You can't get reflection out of the mirror without you. You going at it and it comes back to you. Remember what that is. The one standing in the mirror is the student. The one in the mirror is the teacher at this point. So remember that and understand that in life, all is reflection. All your arguments and people you come against, your situations, road rage in traffic, the frustration, quote unquote, whatever it is, it's reflection of where you're at and how much you can handle. And once you go over the top, you say, well, fuck it, I don't care. This is all I can handle. Well, guess what? That's where you're going to be. And when you calm down, you're going to say, man, I put myself there. I claimed it and everything. See? So we have to precede this stuff, man. We got to precede it. Think about the word precede. Seeds. Plant the seed early. If you know you're going to be hungry later. You've already done this before. So stop leaving yourself starving. Right? So with that being said, I just wanted to mention that the straight path versus the zigzag, how they always trying to give us, nature really doesn't make anything in a straight line. That's another thing, but that's a whole different conversation. Nature makes nothing in a straight line. Everything is curved. But that is a whole different conversation. They also tell us to be direct, which means be straight, right? Get to the point. Get to the point. What is the point? The point is always the destination. Meet me at the spot, right? X marks the spot. Okay? So this is also the destination, meaning the destiny. This is one's destiny. Your destiny is to get to the point. What is the destination of your life? Well, it has to be within you. It has to be at your center because we know it's a point. It's not a hole. It's a point. And when I say hole, I mean WHOLE. It's not a hole. It's a point. Okay? Think about that. So they also say be straight up, right? Straight and then up. Because now we're talking the knowledge of the chakra, the spine, the energetic self, and the physical self, right? The chakra is the energetic self. The spinal represents the physical self. Those two things combined, they lay right on top of each other like an overlay. And there's overlay, 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 overlay. This is the energy coming off of you, right? So I'm going to keep this one short. Got to go pick my daughter up from school. I just wanted to get on here and just say what I've been thinking about lately, as far as good, great, and the formula of life, right? And what we're trying to figure out. So I hope you got something out of it. If you did, as always, share it with somebody. And look, y'all ain't supporting me enough. I'm on here dropping some stuff now. Look, I really don't, it's not about the money, but what I'm noticing is that it's becoming somewhat of an insult. So I'm seeing all these listens and stuff, guys. Come on now. I mean, if you want me to do this more consistently, because I have visions of doing things where you guys can just call me directly and we can just talk and I can take calls. I want to have this thing set up different. I want to reach you in a more personal way. So that being said, drop me a line on my email, communicate with me, support the channel, share it with people. That's also a form of support. It's not just about the money. It's about the support, right? Just be real with yourself. If you're getting something out of it, don't be ashamed to give it to somebody because I'm talking about Christian and God stuff. Don't be like that because I know how y'all are because I used to be like that. Don't do that. Go on and give it to them. Stop judging yourself before anybody else even try to judge you. That's you doing that. So, that being said, this has been another episode of My 3 Cents. Keep coming back because you never know when I drop an episode. All right? Wholeness and all kinds of gratitude at you. Until next time.